Welcome to today's food and beverage lessons. Now, of course, today we're going to talk about how to market your food or even your coffee product online. Now, the problem is not that there is no methods and strategies to help you market your food product online. There's a lot. And touching about platforms, there's abundance and a wide array of platforms. So some of you could already be using TikTok, and then you'll be using Instagram, Facebook, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of platforms. Now, may I say that you're actually more confused about what to do and where to go in order to get sales online rather than there's no help at all. There's so many help. Now, for today, we're going to talk about customers. We're just going to touch on one thing, customer, and that's the most important, right? You need customers, and if it's a paying customers, of course, then after that you generate revenue and your business grows. That's all. And we're going to touch on that in the first part. And in the second part, today we're just going to use Instagram, remembering the various other lessons that I talk about where customers consume content before they consume the product. And we're going to show you how to position your content that you get more followers and ultimately more engagement and more traffic. Okay, with that being said, let's go into today's topic proper. Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's food and beverage sharing session. Ebenezer Heng here. Now, of course, today we're going to talk about how to market a food or even a coffee product online. Now, to do that, we're going to bring forth three components: the customer discovery, customer validation, and customer creation. Of course, at the end of it, we have a case study that brings you through exactly how we did that. Now, since you are here, and you'll give us great encouragement if you subscribe to our channel, which is below, and of course, get notification every time we have a new video. And just another thing to take note, all the resources are below. We have compiled some interesting videos that we know that you might like. And of course, some of the tools that we use are below as well. All of them comes with free trial. We hope you enjoy it. And in today, before we move on to the case studies, I want to talk about three things: customer discovery, customer validation that leads to ultimately the customer creation. Of course, today we are using Instagram as a platform. And how should we go about discovery of customers? Now, one of the key things about Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media is we're talking about content. And of course, we hear a lot about content being king, and it is. In the case study, just by one piece of content, I'm just going to show you how when we test it out, we get a couple hundreds of followers, we get tens of thousands of reach, just simply with one piece of content. And of course, you'll be pleasantly surprised to see that that piece of content is not too sophisticated or too complicated to create after all. But that is my community, that's our community. So how are you going to go about looking for your community? Now, with customer discovery, the first move is we're going to set out a persona. You definitely heard about this thing called a customer or the audience persona. And most small businesses will have some form of persona, just not a very concrete one. I want you to put in a specific. And in case you're thinking, isn't that fictional? Like what one of my trainees has mentioned, it is. It is semi-fictional. We imagine there is this particular audience and we put in a specific. So once we have that, is that true that this person exists out there? Could be, but we do not know exactly if all the specifics are there. And one of the key things that we want to test in customer discovery is whether they will like the content that we post out. Now, remembering on social media and a lot of digital space, our target audience consume the content before they consume the product. So the content is the conduit that bring them to us. Now, with that being said, with the persona, we want to imagine and we want to go out using our company Instagram account to look at some of the posts. And if that post, we find that it could be relevant, they might like it, we would follow the account. If it's allowed in your company policy. Why are we following the account? So that we will have a steady flow of the similar type of content coming in so that we can actually create or curate such a content for our persona, the targeted persona. Now, one word about the content that you're going to go out and find. It has to have a reasonable engagement and it has to be quite viral. There's actually not much point in finding content that is low in engagement and definitely you'll be low in reach. Why is that? So it could be a very beautiful content, but if it's quite low in engagement, that's something that you want to avoid, because in a way Instagram community has already spoken. That's not something that they like. Now, if in my account, in our test case study, that particular post that drives a lot of reach, as I mentioned, is not super beautiful. It doesn't take a lot of effort to create. So, but it's people like it, and that's the way we content. You do not know until you test it out. Now, what happened? What happened after you have the portfolio, the arsenal of content that you have sourced from the various sources, and those that identify that your target audience could likely enjoy? Now, of course, you post it up. You set up a content calendar and you post it out. You can use a variety of tools. We enjoy using tools such as Tailwind. It helps a lot. How much it helps us. We grew a Instagram account from 0 all the way until we're tracking about 20,000 followers. So if you're interested, do check out the link below. I have all the resources linked below. Now, you send out the content, you set up the content. The response might or might not be what you imagine. It could be a lot higher. It could be nothing at all. So the whole idea is to keep testing. And this brings me to the next question, the frequency of posts. How often should you post? How often? A lot of questions that is being posed to me during lessons will be, how often should a company, a food and beverage company in the industry be posting? Well, think about this. There's no hard and fast rules. But if you're posting once a week, will you have enough data to suss out what your audience like? My take is at least once a day, so that at least one week you have 7 different posts, and over a month you have about 30 posts, so you know, okay, this is what they like, this is what they do not like. And that is the validation part. So some of it doesn't work so well, and you keep it. Some of it works pretty well, and you look at the type of content, and you curate or create similar content, so that to keep engaging them, the audience has spoken. That's what they like. So you give them what they like. Now with that, you have validated this particular group of core audience, this community. So you not only want people to follow you, you want people to engage with you. Now in our case study, which is one of the latest one, you can actually see some of the content that we show you. They are not very spectacular, but people just like it. They enjoy it, they comment on it, and they follow it. So you would only know that if you have enough data, enough content. Now, what happens after you have validated your audience? Now, once you have validated your core group of audience, of course, among some of your engagement posts, you will put in the posts that actually right now, a lot of food and beverage companies are posting: the buy now posts, the promo posts, the encouragement posts to buy on your website or on the few delivery platforms, online food deliveries that you're associated with. Nothing wrong with that. So to do that, you need to take note and take care of your audience. Some of them are already purchasing, so you need to reward them. Now, there are a lot of plugins, regardless of any of the website builder that you're using. Reward apps, give them points, encourage them. Now, some of the platforms that you're on are already rewarding them. For instance, GrabFood, give them points. And I think they're selling off-the-shelf, ready-to-eat products like Lazada, Shopee. They are already doing that. So that's great. And on your own, you want to keep a core group as well. And perhaps you want to build an email list. You want to share with them some of the upcoming promo. You want to bring them to a virtual coffee tasting sessions. And we did that, and it works very well. Now, and that is customer creation, this particular portion. So you create this group of customers, you keep them, you keep engaging them. Now, remembering that the lifeline of a food and beverage business is, of course, our core group of existing and regular customers, and we want to keep them coming. We want them to bring friends. And by doing that, if you want that, you need to give them reasons to do that. Now, having said that, we're using just Instagram to discover, validate, and create our customer. Now, this is the theory part of things. Let's look at the case study, and we hope we value it to you in some way. Now, folks, I've done this before. So in the link below, of course, you can see, I'll just provide how we have grown from 0 to subsequently 10,000, and I think about 12, 13,000, I provide another update on the importance of content. So now the question is, how do you market food product online with social media, especially Instagram? So I'm just going to talk about one thing. I mean, in my recent videos, seems like I love to talk about this one thing only, and it's just really about content. Now, it's simple but not easy to do. How do you know which content? So where do you go and find the content? And in this case, I want to show you again the different content and the attraction that it gets, the audience, the reach. I also want to make some mentions about the reels. So using our accounts, we have been testing out reels, and some of it has good response. We reach out to a lot of people. Now let's take a look at this. Right now, of course, this is a scroll of the various content. You can see it's a good mix of content. We're testing various content. And if you look at this, it's a very normal looking pictorial. In fact, if you look at some of the comments, it's not even so clear that they say. But look at the reach. So we're reaching up to 80 over 1,000 people. 70 over 1,000 have not followed us before. New to business, new people. Now, for some of you that are planning to grow your account, this has just helped us to get another 500 followers. Now, this is an image, but if we go to another image, I thought this is nicer. This picture is nicer. Okay, and this is the outreach. Of course, it's a quite recent one. And you can see the disparity. We just got about 20 follows. So image, the pretty image, all this matters, as I said in the previous videos, but a lot of testing, what your group like. Again, another photos, and you can see the reach. And of course, if the litmus test is how many followers you want to get. Now, just now you remember all the reach. Now take a look at the reels. A simple reels can reach out to almost 50,000. And I have some reels which reach out to hundreds and 200s over 1,000. Now, by no means this is like the best, but of course it's growing, and you can see that some of it is actually quite low as well. Now, the important thing that I want to impress upon all of you is, if you want to market or sell food online, social media is definitely one key thing. And in social media, at the current moment, most of you would be using Instagram one form or another. So if you're thinking, should I pay money on Instagram? Well, if your budget allows, sure, it gets you a lot more incremental outreach. And but if you're using content and you're thinking, how often should you post? That's often a question. If you're able to, as you can afford the time and the energy, as often as possible. As you can see from our profile, the reason why we're able to get the better ones is because we have been posting and testing it out. Now, imagine if you're posting it once a week, it will be quite difficult to do that. So once again, this is an update, and this is just to reiterate the point about content. Now, in case some of you are thinking, does it work? Well, I guess as of now, we have been doing for almost a year, and the followers count is increasing, and the reach is increasing. So barring any algorithm change, so I would imagine using content as a way to push forward, reach your target audience, get more engagement, and thereby traffic to your website and selling your food. That is a sound strategy. I mean, we have tested for a year, isn't that so? Now, that is about what we're going to share today, and look forward to seeing you in a subsequent video.